back in the studio, and I have Greg Porter here with me. I'm going to find out what a project manager does and what's going on over at Garden Ridge with all that building. So Greg, welcome.
Thank you.
Be sure you enlighten us now. And welcome to Green Spring, by the way. You've been here, what, a couple of months?
Been here a couple of months. Thank you. Thank you.
Good, good.
It's
So tell me what a project manager is. I know we have them floating around various places.
We do, and I think the other project managers are exactly that. They float around various places depending on what projects need to be worked on. Actually, my position has been hired specifically for Garden Ridge. Right.
Well, that's a pretty good facility.
So,
yeah.
But just a quick little anecdote regarding project manager. I didn't know what project manager was probably 4 years ago either. So my wife was working as the center dean for Keller Graduate School, Bethesda campus, DeVry University, and part of her compensation was to have drastically reduced tuition for family members. So I and my oldest daughter went back to school and pursued another master's in project management.
Oh, okay.
And at that time I thought, well, what is project management? So I soon found out, but we actually all are project managers. Because when you have any project, there are steps involved in that. There's planning, there's a vision, there's casting, there's communication. And a project manager, yourself included, I'm sure, has worked on different projects over the years.
Right.
That's what a project manager does.
Okay.
So specific to Garden Ridge, it's actually a multi-phased project. You may have heard that or talked about that before, but phase one, which is your most interest, I'm sure, is Dogwood Commons and building that building.
Okay, the new addition.
The new addition. So, but it's a project that started in Vision probably 5 years ago or more when they planned it, and then they've been building that building for a year and a half. It's close to completion. But then there's phase 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. So phases will go through 2020. So it's still got several years ahead of it. So that's a long story of what a project manager is.
Well, that kind of clarifies it.
Sure.
Okay. So now tell us about phase 1, how far it's gotten.
Sure. Phase 1, and of course I've been here a couple months, so I'm kind of on the tail end of phase 1. It's almost completed. We're waiting for substantial completion, and we're actually waiting for what they call use and occupancy. Okay. They have to get a certificate. All the fire marshal comes out, checks the elevators, checks the fire devices, the alarms, the smoke detectors, all that stuff. And until that happens, we can't have people on a regular basis in the building.
Right.
So right now, if you were to walk, which you can't yet, if you were to walk through the building, you would see furniture in place, artwork on the walls. It's a beautiful space, but we can't occupy until we get that use and occupancy permit.
How long is that going to take now?
We expect probably by the end of this month.
Oh, good.
So there was a little bit of a hiccup in numbering of the elevators because we have an existing building that already had 5 elevators, and now we're adding 2 more in the new space, and so numbering those got mixed up, and so we got to go back to the elevator people and get that permitted, and fire marshal won't sign off on that till the elevators are all numbered. So it's a good thing because it keeps us safe.
Sure.
But it's frustrating when you want to get in the building.
Right.
So I would say hopefully by the end of this month we should see use and occupancy.
Good.
So yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I know I have a friend who's waiting to
Okay.
get in there.
Okay, sure, yeah.
So what kind of facilities are in that new building that we haven't had before?
Okay, the entire building is assisted living.
Oh,
so
okay.
Currently at Garden Ridge we have skilled nursing, we have rehab, we have assisted living, and we have memory care assisted living. So that building will have 4 floors, just like Rose Court that it joins up to.
Right.
So it joins at 4th, 3rd, 2, and 1 on Rose Court. On the other side on EV, Evergreen Terrace, it joins at 3, 2, and 1 because it's got 3 floors on that side.
Okay.
But the top floor will be 26 bed, 2 studio apartments for memory care assisted living residents. So dedicated just for those folks. They've got their own dining room up there, their own pantry, which is serving kitchen. The main food will be prepared downstairs again in the main kitchen, but then brought up. So that's 4th floor. 3rd, 2, and 1 are 49 more assisted living rooms. And the exciting thing for us with Dogwood Commons is that it gave us a chance to do some 1-bedroom units.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So most of our other units were studios. But in this case of the 49, a total of 75 beds, all 4 floors. But of the 49, I think, you have to forgive me if I get the numbers wrong, but I think we have 42 1-bedrooms. So a good portion of those are 1-bedroom apartments.
Nice.
For again, it's all for all for assisted living. Yeah.
That's great, because I know when people feel they need that, more than they can do independently, they sort of dread going into that 1-room facility. I know that can be an issue, and it's also an issue just not knowing what that's like. Right.
Change is tough for everybody, but I can assure you, having been over in that space, it's a beautiful space. Actually, all of Garden Ridge is beautiful space. We have gone through the process of updating the community spaces on Rose Court side as well as Evergreen side, so those have the new look to them. And when I talked about the phases, phase 2 is moving residents in, and then phase 3 will start revamping where residents are in the other spaces.
Okay.
So the whole building.
So you're going to be redoing the ones that are in existence now.
Exactly.
Okay, and
So
how will they change?
And that's where I come in as project manager. I'm on the, like I said, the tail end of what's just been finished. So those will change. We will be adding bathrooms. Some of them have they don't have a full bathroom, so we're going to be adding bathrooms to several rooms, and obviously updating the paint, the carpet.
Right.
So rooms will be a little bit bigger because of a bathroom added in. We're going to lose some rooms in that process.
I had heard about that.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Will any of those turn into 1-bedroom type places, or?
I wish I could say lots of them would. I think when we're all done with that process, we'll probably have 14 1-bedroom on that side of things. So not as many as Dogwood, but we'll get some out of that. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Only so much you can do with an existing building.
Exactly, and I know that's important. People, when they're coming from independent living, are used to having a bedroom. So yeah, where we can, we want to do that.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
So after you get phase 2 done, then what?
phase 2, then we'll begin the process. Phase 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Those are all just the moves of resident within. When we do the construction on remodel in an existing structure, we try to do a column. So 4th, 3rd, 2, and 1, a section of the building top to bottom will be done.
Oh, okay.
And you think, well, typically you do a whole floor, but with plumbing issues, if you're moving plumbing around, it's best to be able to do vertical.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
so phase 3 will be part of that, 4 will be part of that, 5, 6, 7 down the road.
Yeah,
So-
I never thought about the plumbing making
Right.
the differences.
Right. So it's called job security till at least 2020 for me, right? So
And after that, they'll start revamping something else.
I'm sure they will. Yeah. So,
That's amazing.
yeah.
That's great.
So
So you're from Maryland.
I've lived in Maryland for 22 years. So it's a long story where I'm from. I was born in Oregon, Roseburg, Oregon.
Oh, I know that.
But I've
I have
lived
friends there.
lived in Oregon, lived in Colorado and California. You want to hear them all?
No, that's
Okay.
all right.
Lots of
moved
states.
around.
Moved around, lots of states.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, Maryland is the place that I've lived the longest at this point.
And you have a wife and a daughter.
I have a wife and 3 daughters.
3 daughters.
Yeah, 3 daughters and 6 grandchildren.
Wonderful.
Two grandsons and 4 granddaughters. So
So you can relate very well to the residents here.
I can. I love working with the residents here. It's it's like working with your grandparents. It's great. Although I'm now a grandparent, so it's working
That's
with my
right. You're-
colleagues.
That's right. Just
So,
talk about grandkids
yeah.
all the way. Yeah.
But I've been in Maryland for 20 years. I've worked actually 22 years. I've worked in healthcare for 20 years.
Oh, okay.
So prior to coming to Green Spring and Garden Ridge, I was with a smaller CCRC called Brook Grove Foundation. and started out there as their community relations director. And then we had an HR person who left, and so I ended up heading up the HR team for several years. And then in Maryland, you do an administrator in training to become a licensed nursing home administrator. So I did that for a year, and then was their skilled and rehab administrator for 8.5 years.
Great.
And then the last 3 years have been project manager.
So you have a lot of experience.
I do. Yeah.
Well, welcome to the team.
Well, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.